Okay, in this lesson I'm going to show you how to create your first anchor tags and then pseudo classes and then set up images. And you're going to be able to link them or do something with those images. So first I've kind of outlined these given headers for each section, and you can see I've opened my project folder. In the project folder I have a HTML file, a styles.css file, and an images folder. Inside the images folder I have an image that is web ready. I can see that information if I hit Command I. I can see the dimensions is 200 by 123, so that's small enough that it would be available and ready for the web. So I can just remember those dimensions when I come in and put the image in. But to create an anchor tag, it's really pretty simple. You have to have an anchor opening tag and an anchor closing tag to start. So if I want to create an anchor tag, I can just put in something inside that and say my personal website. So this is the name I'm assigning to the anchor tag. You can see if you hit save and refresh, it's going to show my personal web page, but there's no information, and that's because we haven't created a ref, which is the location that it's going to go to. So I have a few options for the location. I can create an absolute link, or I can create a relative link. An absolute link is going to basically be a website link. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to put swcmarketing.com, and you can see if I hit save and refresh that now my personal website is coming up as a link. So that's how you do an absolute link. If I wanted to link to an HTML file in a different folder, I could create a folder. So I could duplicate that, and if I wanted to give it a new name, so pretend I had actually a document here named james.html, and I'm going to open James in my text editor over here, and I'm going to change James so that it says title James's page. So I'm just giving you an example of how this might work. James. So pretend this is a really cool website page that has a lot of information. Of course, for our purposes, we're just setting up a page and showing you how to interlink. So I'm going to hit refresh. Nothing's going to show up because I haven't actually clicked through to James's page. I haven't even created a link to it. So I'm going to go back to my original HTML page, which is right here. And you can see how I've created a folder for Bob, and then I've created another file in there. So I'm going to create a link to that page. So what I'm doing here is I have to find the location of that page, and I do that by you have to go into the Bob folder. So it's like you're going down a level in order to get into it. So you're coming from where this a pseudo image.html is and going into the Bob folder. So you have to go into the Bob folder, and then you have to select this HTML file. So make sure that you spell it correctly and just type in james.html. So once I declare that ref, you can see that my personal website, I want to make sure and change that so it's clear. James page. Save and refresh and hit James page, and now it goes to a new page called James. So you can see now that I've created an absolute link, and this is a relative link. So it's relative, meaning you're creating a link relative to where this file is. So this file is in the root folder of my project. You can see here from the project root folder, you can see Bob. So I'm coming from this link, I'm going relative to this file, I'm going into the Bob folder, selecting james.html as the next page that I'm going to. So you can see how I did that here. I went into the Bob folder and selected james.html. Now if I wanted to have a link back to the a pseudo image.html file, I can create a relative link here. Anchor ref equals a pseudo img.html. Go back to the first page. So I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit refresh. I'm going to hit click on James' page, and I'm going to see I'm James back to the first page. Oh, it didn't show up. But the question is why? Why it didn't show up? It didn't show up because we are coming from the James file, and we're wanting to go relative to the James file back to the a-pseudo-image.html, and that file is actually outside of this Bob folder. So you can see I have to move back out of that folder in order to access the a-pseudo-image.html file. So let me show you how to do that. If I want to go outside a level, I just put ... and then a /. So here's the folder. I'm going to go outside of the folder, and you can see here's Bob, here's James. I can go outside of the folder and look on this level for the a-pseudo-image.html, and that's what I'm doing here. So if I hit refresh, back to the first page, you can see it goes back to that page. So now that I have that, the relative link works correctly. Okay, so let's talk about pseudo classes.